Hey y'all, it's Coffee Monster, and we're live with this week's Heard Reads. I have a few of them here, and then I have a little of a thicker read for the end. So it's a little bit of an impromptu time. I was a little preoccupied this morning. So I'm going to give a couple minutes, see if anyone's hopping into the chat, and then I'll start reviewing with the first. And then I will be posting to Instagram with the voiceover shorter edition if you don't watch this whole thing. Hey, Rick. How are you? How are you doing? I'm running behind, but I'm doing this, and then hopefully we're gaming. Actually, I might do a TikTok because I want to try these new things I got. But I felt like you're like trying to insinuate something, but yeah, I was busy. Okay, so I'm gonna go over reads. So first one is Behemoth. I'm not sure of the proper pronunciation of that one, but this is by Black Caravan, and this is issue 1, and this is Chris Kapiniak and J.K. Woodward. Remember this? Yes, I'm aware. Hello. How are you? You're the better brother. Just kidding. Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, you said it like, I thought you were saying like trying to make it like, I mean, it probably was spicy reasons, but I just felt like you were trying to say something. Oh my God. The drama. Behemoth. Really? But it's with an E. Anyway, so this is first issue. Black Caravan puts this one out, so it's more of an indie, so it's not really one that like a lot of people would necessarily hear of. But it's kind of like, given the X-Mutant type vibe, it's basically people who are part animal or creature. They're not like your typical animals, so they're more like creatures. And the kids turn into them in the story. So basically these people, it's like, probably FBI of some sorts, come and basically kidnap these kids once they start to show signs. So this mom basically gets like beat up by her kid, and then the cops show up, but they're not really cops. They're like these FBI guys. Hey, K-pop, how are you? I can't with you guys. But Behemoth. We'll go with Robert because he's smart. So she gets kidnapped. She kind of is turning into kind of like a lobster looking like werewolf thing. I don't even know. But she's got like these red scaly arms. And they basically turn more and more into the creature as they age. So, I mean, it's a cool storyline if you're into that kind of stuff. It's not super scary. It's just more like a thriller, like action than anything. It's not really like horror. Definitely he does that every morning. That's like a daily appointment. Yeah, see. This one is well, I guess it's Behemoth is what they're saying, but Behemoth, Black Caravan. It's like Sweet Tooth meets X-Mutant type story. You're eating fish and broccoli. We're gonna keep saying that. Okay, whatever it's called. Yeah, I love Black Caravan, so I usually will pick them up, especially if it's first issue. And this one was a first issue, so it's the only one I have of this one. But a lot of people are into the covers with the tentacles on it. So it does have that vibe to it too, if you're into that. But they go back and forth between the mom and the, place where she's being held captive. She's like all confused and she feels terrible, but like she was injured pretty badly. So the more they turn, the less human they are, till eventually they're just not human anymore. So supposedly they're trying to help them by making them stay human longer. Really, they're just trying to train them into assassins for them, so they can, basically fight for them. And that's where it ends for this issue. But I did read the first two, so the story is cool. If, like I said, if you're into that kind of vibe. Yeah, I saw that. But honestly, I'm kind of reading. I need to catch up. I have a lot of older books too, but I want to start reading some of their newer stuff that they're putting out as they start to. Yeah, I mean, the government always gets involved and then it turns into a shit show. Extra pelt today. Thank you, Robert. I can always count on you to be my, doctor to keep me in track. I've been going outside and I'm actually kind of a little bit like tan. Thank you. Okay. I'm just tired lately. You're ridiculous. Okay, you two need to stop. You two should not be in a chat together. Ugh. Okay, so Gordon Barleycorn. This is straight edge. No, the ballad of, and so obviously it's going to be about music and stuff, and it is a little bit. It's quirky. It's cool. This is also Black Caravan. This is issue 1. This is McHugh and Sly. This one I picked up because it was kind of like a weird cover. I did get 2 issues of it because I'm going to send one to Joe, Zombie Joe Comics, if you don't already follow him. Thank you. Thank you. See, this is why I knew it was a good thing that we had her come join us on the Black Sheeps. This one's cool. So it's kind of funny. Actually, I have, I think, a third. This might go in your box, Rick. But this one's kind of funny because basically there's like a debt collector that's chasing after him. He doesn't really make a lot of money. He's like a starving musician or whatever. But it starts off with him like sleeping with some like, teenage girl and like the father kicking him out. He's hanging out in some fishnets. So obviously that's really cute. But he signed all over her body and stuff and, whatever. And so he's getting kicked out and stuff. And that's when he kind of sets on this new journey where he's like, okay, I'm going to try something new. And then this debt collector that's been following him around runs into him and tries to like, get him for money. So then he tries to do this whole like new career, which he falls into puppeteering. So from music to puppeteering. Yeah, see, I don't even wear sweaters, so I don't even have an excuse. But leave her alone and let her wear sweaters. Don't tell her to do. Okay. Wait, Katie, are you wearing sweaters in the summer? Well, I guess I don't know where you're at right now. Maybe it's just not hot. Okay, yeah, we're doing hoodies for life. See, she's not even wearing a sweater right now. I don't like sweaters, fun fact. I actually hate them. So I don't really wear them. And I still stay pale, so but it's just that's my special power. It's not snowing. It's just it's hot as balls. It's hot here. Well, it's a little bit windy. But I had to like go out and about. I had an interview this morning, so it was hot. And I had to get like dressed like cover. I cover like most of myself up so people can't see me. Rick, it's giving like shut the fuck up. Yeah, she said hoodies. I don't have a mixture of all of them, but yeah, that's why that's usually hanging there. I used to have the vest there, so that's why I put that there instead. It's just a bunch of jewelry and stuff. Okay, anyways, enough about my aesthetic because it's not my comic book room. This is just like where I do this at. So, like I said, it's really cool. The vibes are cool throughout the story. Like this one guy has like 6 arms. Then all of a sudden he's like getting an idea to use him as a puppeteer master, which he's secretly like this, like he wanted to be a puppeteer his whole life. So it's like everything just kind of falls into play. he's going wild because they're making all kinds of money. But then basically, like, you know, homeboy with the, I don't know, he's got a lot of arms now, but he ends up passing out, and then the show ends. Debt collector takes like all the money, and the guy ends up with nothing. But then he's all inspired to start writing music again. So it's a cool little story. I don't know. It's like a little bit of mixture of like real life. It feels like a dude just kind of like fell asleep and was daydreaming at the office or something. That's like what I feel like the vibe is here. And he was probably stoned when he wrote it. So yeah, and that's this story. Very entertaining. I love the art in it, so that's cool. The next one looks like it's even more badass. This is the only one I have so far, so I'm gonna have to track down the rest of them because I really did enjoy it. I think this one's cool. Usually they do really cool covers too, Black Caravan. And I like the way their books feel because they're not like plasticky. I know, but I'm gonna still read a bunch of their older stuff, even if they're not really around, because I feel like that's how you get things back, or people decide to, which is actually what I'm gonna end with. It had a crazy story, which I don't know so much about, but I'm gonna share some facts about. Yeah, I have a bunch of Afterlife. Yeah, I'll try to share some of those on here. But yeah, I'm into all the horror and the dark stuff. I've been doing more of like Vertigo and DC and DC titles and things like that, or like random indie ones or Kickstarters. But these like Black Caravan and Afterlife and stuff, I'll start sharing more of those ones because those ones definitely are more horror vibe, which are cool. Yeah, I'll have to check out the website. I'm not a big online person, so. But oh, cool. Oh, well, yeah, I've been reading their stuff forever, so that's awesome. That's cool. You know a lot of really cool people in the community because it's like one thing to know people who everybody knows, but the people that are writing really cool stories, I think, need more traction. So that's cool. This one is a special one for us because eventually we Black Sheep will become our true evolved beings, and we will become the Pink Pony Club. Wow, I'm like almost lost that. Pink Pony Club. And this was a story about a horse, but really they think it's a unicorn. And it's spelled with a K, which I thought was cool, like corn. Which I don't even know if that's even relevant to the story. But this one's actually very cute. And it's based somewhat on true events in the way that, well, the backstory, which I'm sure will make sense. Oh, I'll never say no. I'm actually waiting on a box, which I'll probably do on a live here from Paul. I'm not sure what he's saying, but I'm always excited to get gifts. And then I'm always putting aside books for people. So especially since I won't probably see you in person, yours will probably have to send. But everyone else I usually just give when I see them in person. So I'm gonna start having to collect books after I figure out what you guys all like. So this little girl lost her mom. Her and her dad now are living, you know, after the loss of that. So obviously it's a little bit hard. She's going back and forth between a farm and then with her dad. They're in the city. She prefers to be on the farm. That's where her mother was. That's where they were living before everything happened. And she has a veterinary practice there. Like, so her daughter basically feels really connected there with the animals and etc. Obviously, this book is called Unicorn. That's because she comes across while she's there. So she's there just kind of messing around. She starts to be nosy, I guess, get curious, and she ends up inside the stall that she's not supposed to, and that's where this horse is. It's a very dark horse. You don't see too much about him other than like he's really upset when you bother him. Like he gets really angry, but he's okay with her somewhat. And then he's got a hood on his head. That's like really upsetting him. So she takes it off, and then that's when she sees like kind of like a, I don't know, like a sore there or whatever. Like basically she thinks that used to be a horn. The name of it is basically Latin for last hope, which, you know, is usually referred to as the unicorn. So that's what this is. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm always down to read them. I like the hard copy, but I'm always down to read the online versions too. But the corner here is missing, so it's like they're not making it obvious, but like further in the story, not in this issue, it'll become more apparent. She ends up going to school in her shoes that she had, like, been all over the farm in, so she smells like shit. The kids are making fun of her, so she's also kind of like left out. But then she has one friend. There's always that one friend who's there with her, so they do research and stuff, and they are uncovering kind of what this horse or whatever is, and that's when they realize it's probably a unicorn. And then that's where it pretty much ends, so we don't really know if it's a unicorn or not, but it probably is, right? So very magical ending, very cutesy, but basically this writer did lose their mother, and so they wrote this story about it. So it's probably just something about their childhood that they remember or whatever about a horse, a special horse, and then in this story it turns into a unicorn. Then I did Black Orchid. This is DC and Vertigo, or Vertigo, which is owned by DC, but this is I think there's 4 of them in this specific one, and this is one of 4, and then I do have the rest of them, so I'm going to continue to read it. But basically, she's kind of some sort of superhuman, but they don't really, like, more of like a goddess vibe. But it's an older read, so the storyline is a little bit funny. Doesn't really like link up too much, other than you just see a bunch of different sightings of this really beautiful figure. She's really bright and very pink, as you see here. She goes by different names throughout her history, but most refer to her as Black Orchid. And you're basically following along a reporter. So this reporter, and she goes through and she's interviewing everyone about the different cases that are relevant to the city she's in. And she gets to interview someone who was very close friends with this woman when she first entered this specific city. She actually started out as an escort, so she learned, I guess, like how to be an escort or whatever through that lady who was being interviewed by the reporter. And that's basically where like they start her journey, and she goes from there on and kind of evolves into different things. But everywhere she goes, people are just like enamored with her, which is like why they think she's superhuman. Well, she has some sort of like psychic thing for sure, but they're all like, pretty wild about her. So they think that she's got like all these like superhuman issues, which she might, but they don't really talk about it too much in it, because then right at the end is when the reporter runs into her, and she somehow convinces the reporter to basically shoot the cops, because she did bring the cops with her. So then they show up. She tells her it's her fault, and then basically makes her kill herself, and that's where this story ends. But like I said, it goes on. There's a few more issues of it, and then there's like a whole series on this character. The guys that are actually after them aren't even really cops. They're like some sort of government agency, of course, because there's always a government agency. Yeah, this one is cool. I need to read the rest of them though, because it's a little bit weird. Wait, what? Wait, what? But that's Black Orchid. The covers are what got me into that one. But I mean, she's cool. She's really, really she's really pretty. Like, I like her character in it. But even when she's just like her normal self, like, because she changes into that, but she's like, she looks like a normal person when she's talking to all of them. She's the blonde, so she looks like a normal person and then turns into that like bright pink, which they do call her an orchid in the story, one of the articles like by the reporter. And then the last one that I read, which I need to go back through and read this more, just because there is a lot of little things, and I've made sure to read mostly just the stories, not all the little like articles or little like stories that they have throughout it. But Heavy Metal came back last month. This one, so I don't have the original issues, which I really wish I had, but I always really liked them. I've been collecting the National Lampoons. which, originally this was created and was kind of the inspiration for heavy metal. That and the metal Metal Hurlant or something, the French comic version, which led them to this one. So now I'm trying to find all of these ones, of course, and I do want the old ones, but yeah, I like this kind of read, like where it's like got a bunch of different stuff in it, and even the ads are really cool. It's almost like fake news, I guess, like in a way throughout it, which is, kind of interesting to read, and a lot of like sci-fi storylines, which is cool. A lot of aliens if you like aliens. So yeah, I feel like I find more of these ones or Mad magazine. Like I find these, but I don't ever really find heavy metal out here. But I mean, maybe online. I just don't shop online. So yeah, the titles are really, really cool. I think the original one was 1977. But the idea that they had to do a Kickstarter to revive it this last time, because I know what was under Kevin Eastman for a little while, and then it just went dead. So I'm happy that they were able to bring it back. But they have all kinds of different covers. Like that's the web exclusive. So if people buy it online, I did kind of want. I think it's in the back though. There was one issue with the astronaut on the cover that I really wanted, but I didn't grab it. I might grab another couple of them if they have them still, but there wasn't too many. Oh, there's the astronaut one. This one. I liked that one a lot, but yeah, that's what I'm starting to see. So I don't know. And they did have a bunch of covers that came out from Kickstarters that, are trying to fund other projects that they have and stuff. So I thought that was cool too. So it's definitely, I mean, but that's the idea of these kind of books is to advertise or advocate for, new writers or writers who just aren't as popular. And then of course you have the really good writers that everyone knows, because you can't have it be published and be popular without that, unfortunately. But I love the art in it, even from the beginning of it. So this goes over all the different stories. There's a lot of stories in it. So it's a big read. So for those of you guys who don't like to read a lot, probably not the best, but if you read parts of it, it's really cool. But they bring in like all the different aspects of the magazine itself, and everything is cool to read. Like all of it has its different meanings and stuff. But like there's this one right here with the robot right there, and that's about Rosie, and it's cool because she's from the Jetsons. So that the Jetsons, and so it's like also going to be relevant, and certain character stuff will be brought back in, and they talk about how like back then she was like a goofy robot, and now we have like Roombas and stuff vacuuming our rooms and stuff. So it goes over stuff like that, and then they'll have like 3D printing in here, digital, all the different stuff and highlights. It's like a timeline, and they just put like their own spin on it, all the different ads and stuff. But like I said, everything is if you read it, everything is very entertaining. Down with the Illness, talks about video games and stuff like BioShock 2, which was very popular. No. You. Yeah, I'd be interested in that for sure. That sounds cool though. But no, I don't have that one. I didn't even know they were going to come out, honestly, with heavy metal until I think it was right before it was coming out in April, and that my store didn't even get it till this month, or might have been end of month. So I just now got back into it and stuff, so I'll have to look into that. But the alien discourse, and then they'll have the different arts there, which is cool, and then like little stories about sightings, and then they go into the different stories. So this is Bug. The art of Bug is cool. It's like a watercolor vibe. It's not really a style that I'm collecting typically, but I don't know. It was a cool story. It was a cool read. It starts out with basically no internet. Like what would happen if there's no internet, and they're like, oh, well, we can't talk to anyone. We can't reach anyone. This person in particular is trying to reach someone important. They're a pilot. They're basically an astronaut, though. They keep calling her a pirate. Maybe she doesn't know what he does, but he's in space, and they're all affected. And there's just one prisoner who isn't affected, and he's got some sort of code, and it's very tech sci-fi, like futuristic of the storyline. So I mean, it's cool, but I feel like there's a lot of those ones. So this one was cool, but not my favorite. Then they had, well, so they have more of the older covers and stuff, and they do history, which is cool. So they have a bunch of little spots where they'll do like a little history, and that's more rooted on the original. And then this is Journey to Death, the Mercenary. It's like a knight runs into like this whole fairyland, basically this land that's run by fairies. So it's cute. It's a cute story. It's actually very beautifully done. And then all of them are dressed with pretty much nothing on, so basically tits and wings. So, and there's a bunch of like little sea creatures and random land creatures. Got the story too. That's really cool. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I love her. She's really beautiful. Yeah, I have seen Epic a little bit. I just got back into mags, so I'm trying to collect a bunch of mags this year. So any recommendations is really important. Cold Dead War, The Aftermath. This one's really cool. It's like a pirate zombie storyline. So it's like a pirate ship, and it's basically covered with, or the pirate ship is just filled with zombie pirates. But every story is different, and then they have, like I said, throughout the stories, they have other little ads and things like that. Some of the stories are really short, so I'm going to just skip the whole one. But this part I really liked in this story. So that was cool. Like when they do the full splash page. A few more shorter stories. And they all vary. A lot of them are definitely more sci-fi. There's a few black and white ones, which I typically do like. This one's June 2050, a little bit of a futuristic vibe. And then she's like a pinup, like vampy type. She looks good. And then they have the creature sci-fi one. This one's cool though, because this one we run into characters that we know from older stories, and then you mix them with the new. Like there's Dracula, Frankenstein, and then basically like they get like scared shitless by these guys with their creatures, which are like these alien, I don't know, they look really creepy, but they're all like little alien, different alien vibes. And so then they scare our classic monsters off, and then they basically get drunk and whine about how like they're no longer relevant. So that's kind of funny too in there. But I don't know. I always like the classic monsters. So, but it's cool to see it in there. And then they do the artist spotlight type vibe, which they share a lot of the artwork too in, which is really, really cool. This is Greg Hildebrandt. I suck at saying names, but I'm sure that's how you say it, or someone will correct me. But he does lightsabers, from lightsabers to lingerie, which is, I mean, that's most artists at this point. So it's really not saying much. Most people are drawing a certain vibe now, or they're really not going to be popular. But again, more artwork, which they have the heavy metal cover too there, which is also another really cool one. I did not see that one, so that was not an option for me. I think there's only 3 covers at my shop. But I love that print. Mad Scientist. More alien disclosures. And then this one's Evil Sex Bitch. So, you know, I mean, you get the name. It is actually, it's a really cool little bit of a, it's a smaller story. It's a shorter story. But it's a cool art throughout it. She's like this Viking chick. Or I guess I should say she's a evil sex bitch. But it's pretty short. Like I said, not too much to it. But a lot of these ones, I mean, they're parts or they're just little excerpts or an idea. This one's about bugs. I didn't actually read that one. There's only, I think, 2 of them that I kind of skipped. But I looked at all the artwork because they're all amazing. But some of the stories are just, I mean, some of the stories are more for the art, I would say, than the storyline. And then you always got your chick in the bikini uniform because we love that. I like this character though. I think she's really, really beautiful. I like the purple hair. A lot of fighting and stuff. So, I mean, like I said, I looked through the pictures to really read that one because this one was a pretty big read and my week went crazy. More history and other looks. I love that one though. That art is beautiful. Okay, let me share. Don't want to miss it. Oh, they have They Dug Too Deep. And Austin Grimaldi. Those ones are the short ones. But the Oscar Grimaldi one is like a sci-fi, which is cool. But I really liked, oh, they have Rumble. The Gladiatrix. Which is Gladiator. Badass girl, and she goes through and pretty much slaughters everybody. She becomes the champ. The champ. I feel like this magazine, like I said, is just more of the art, if anything, though. But the stories are really cool. I mean, especially if you keep up with them, because they usually are parts. But there's a lot of gore in the storylines, especially the deeper you get into the magazine. So, I mean, that's exciting too. This one's definitely one of the more gory storylines in this one, in this issue. I liked Valentina, which we're not quite yet to. I like that. That artwork on this one as well. That's the cloister. The cloister. Big cloister fuck. And then it kind of just ends like without really any kind of thing. They have a little bit longer stories. These ones are not obviously like comic strips, but the stories are really cool. And this one actually starts out really cool, very poetic. That's the Devil's Teeth. Okay, where is Valentina? I feel like I missed it. Which would suck. This one was a good read. The Mystery Fireball. It's like a appearance, like a, ooh, got all blurry. an alien encounter. Oh, let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, there we go. See? UFO sighting. Yeah, I like the alien storylines though. I like aliens. One of my favorite go-tos is X-Files. Okay, so I think we missed Valentina. We have to go back to Valentina. But this one I really like too. The Transcendence. Oh my God. The Transcendence Destiny. The Transcendent Destiny. The Trans. You don't come here to pronunciate stuff though. You just come here to listen to what I read about. But this has got like a really cool like Swamp Thing Man vibe. He's very much a part of nature. He's very upset and angry, and then he ends up seeing something and is called to the water. Basically gets cleansed and becomes a well, he goes through the cleanse and then becomes what we would consider more of a human nature. Oop, I skipped it. There we go. Because it's cleansed of all his, you know, sins and failures and yada yada. And now he's like this big, muscular, beautiful man. Oh, there we go, Valentina. Okay, so Valentina, I'm gonna definitely follow that storyline. I really liked it. It's about this woman, and she's definitely heartbroken. She's suffered loss, and then she's just basically trying to move on and just kind of like live her life. The art's really, really, really beautiful. She's being stalked as well. And right in the beginning, it says that there's news of this woman who died. So, and then there's like different parts where it looks like she's kind of reliving something. So, I mean, I don't know. She might just wake up that she's actually dead this whole time. But the news article said that her lover, her partner, killed her. So the fact that she's mourning this man in the beginning is a little bit, shocking. Or it's the guy who's stalking her. So either or, but I have a feeling she's dead. But we don't know that yet. So because the story will end with her basically having another nightmare, which this is her supposed nightmare, but it's really not a nightmare. It's also a fantasy for her. Because, heavy metal. So she wakes up, all distressed, but, looking as gorgeous as ever. And of course she's naked because, we all sleep that way. Really, though, I mean, we do. And then this is when they start the actual Rumble storyline. So robots. Robots. So that one's cool too. And then they have the other covers and then another alien disclosure. They have a bunch of those throughout, but they're cool to see because of all the art on them. And then that's where it ends with the metal strips, which I think are kind of my favorite. But they're very short. It's like almost like the funny pages. I think that's why I like that so much. And then of course all the different covers that they had, which mine only had this one and the astronaut one, and then of course the one that I picked. And I only picked this just because I like the artist. They have that. At the end, another history. In it too, they had like a little false ad for the Beatles, and they called them the Beatles, and it was the Sgt. Pepper, and it was like fake news about it. What was it? No, probably we'll find it. But that one was funny. I'll put that in. I'm gonna have that. I actually haven't posted yet, but on the one on Instagram, I'll have that on there. And I am gonna post an Instagram one. My head's just been all over the place, but I'm gonna somehow get that out. And then I'll be more prepared for next week's reads too. Hopefully I'll be able to do them a little bit earlier. I've just been very busy in the mornings, but those are the books that I read this week. Not as many as I normally do. I am still reading the graphic novels introduced last time, so I'll give an update as soon as I'm done. But I think I've only had time for Berserker this month, so. Heavy Metal. I didn't see the Beetlejuice. The Beatles ad. So, but that'll be, like I said, in my Instagram one. Yeah, I don't know where it is. That'll be my Instagram one. Well, that's this one. I'll definitely need more because I've been reading this one and all over it, and I do want to read it again. But, oh, that's cool. Okay. They have like the well-known storylines from within it, which those hit it right there. All the ones they listed here are pretty much the ones that were really good. Bug, The Mercenary, Tarna, and Valentina. Tarna, though, I didn't fully read. I just more looked at the art, but it was actually a really good story. Those were the longer ones throughout it. And then this is Frazetta, the Frazetta cover. So Heavy Metal issue 1, and then Unicorn, which this is just one issue. This is the second printing, though. This is just one. Yeah. But it's Scout Comics. Unicorn with a K. Gordon Barleycorn. I don't know if anyone's on that was pronouncing it incorrectly around, but Bo Hemoth, apparently. Black Orchid, which this one I want to keep reading for sure because I'm interested in what's going on there and stuff, but that's Dick Foreman. And then I didn't actually even discuss this one, but I was actually reading this one a little bit, but this is a pretty old copy, pretty low grade copy. It's still intact though, but the bottom isn't. So I really didn't want to read it too much, so I won't share that one. But this is like basically the inspiration behind Heavy Metal, that and then the French comic. Whatever it was like Howling Metal or something, but there was like a French term for it. If anybody has any read recommendations or wants to join, especially if you're the Black Sheep Club, hit me up or let me know. Definitely happy to have people join on these. Most of the time I'll probably do these recorded eventually, but right now I'm doing live while I have the time. I'm happy to read whatever. I'm going to throw on some mainstream or some not so mainstream titles here and there. I'll definitely try to do some Afterlife maybe on the next one. And then I hope at the end of the day, this inspires y'all to read more. Look forward to the Instagram video coming out. For sure, low grades will be on Friday. I'm not sure if we're going to do Saturday Night Comics, but for sure next weekend we'll do it if we don't do it this weekend. And otherwise, y'all can find me Coffee Monster everywhere. Thank you so much for watching, everybody that joined me, especially in the chat. Katie's going to be right back, but I'm going to not be right back, so all good. But I really appreciated everybody who joined on to watch. Oh, oops, I didn't even see. Sorry. It's like when I start talking about this stuff, I go in a whole other place. Yeah, I like Momoko a lot too. I bought a lot of her though, so I kind of been burnt out a little bit. But I did like that cover she did. So, for sure. Yeah. Love Boy Shack. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.